me a long time to have the courage to wear a yarmulke all the time. When I grew up, I didn't wear a yarmulke except the shul, and so I wasn't comfortable with the whole concept, even though it was something I viewed positively and felt we ought to do. Just couldn't bring myself to wear a yarmulke because it was just too much for me. It was just too difficult, embarrassing. What would people say? Especially after being in public eye and people didn't know me as someone who wore a yarmulke. I had a trial in federal court in Wilmington, North Carolina. I was at the defense table. There are two tables, and there was the prosecutor's table. And with the prosecutor was a new employee of the U.S. Attorney's Office. He'd just gotten there a few weeks earlier. And he was actually a black man, and he was wearing a knit type skull cap. And I thought, well, maybe he's Muslim. I didn't know what to think. A very, very nice person. He was helping the prosecutor. He's not an attorney. Well, when the jury came back and found my client not guilty, I had to stay and put my things together at the end of the case. Everyone left except me at my table and this man at the other table with the cap. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you Jewish?" And I laughed and I said, "Yes, can't you tell, from the way I look?" And he said, "Oh, okay." He says, "Well, I'm Jewish too." And then he joked, he says, "Can't you tell by the way I look?" So I said, "Well, I guess you're wearing a yarmulke." He said, "Of course, I wear it all the time." So I pulled back my coat and I said, "Look, I'm wearing tzitzis." And he said to me, "I've never seen that before. I've never seen a Jew who wore tzitzis but didn't wear a yarmulke." And I had a 2-hour drive home and a very, very long Shabbos, trying to decide what to do. Monday morning, I came in with my yarmulke, and I sent an email to my boss, who wasn't Jewish. I said, "I've decided to wear a yarmulke all the time." Two things happened. My boss called me in. I said, "Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble." Put his hand out, shook my hand, and he said, "It's about time. You've been such a hypocrite." He says, "I'm very proud of you." Now, I had a hearing a few weeks later in front of the same judge that I'd won that case a few weeks earlier. Judge Fox, after I responded to my motion, he says, "Mr. Zeidman, would you please wait until after everyone has left?" And I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. He was a very big stickler that men had to take their hats off in court. I thought, I'm in big trouble. After everyone else was gone, he called me to the bench. He said, "Mr. Zeidman, are you wearing that head covering for religious reasons?" I said, "Yes, I am." He put his hand out, shook my hand again, and he said, "I'm very happy you decided to do that." He said, "I really have respect for people who are religiously observant."
How do you take that experience and translate that back into life?
I think that the way I used that lesson was that you had to do what you knew was right, and the consequences would deal with themselves. For example, someone recently in very high office in the federal government has said, because of the violence with Hamas, that Jews should stop wearing yarmulkes, take off their yarmulkes, take off their Mogen David if they're wearing it as a decorative or symbol of pride. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I mean, you go back to the Holocaust when non-Jews in Denmark wore the yellow star. In other words, the right answer, and this is the lesson I learned from it, is not to give in, whether it's your Yetzer Hara, your evil inclination, saying don't wear the yarmulke. You go the other way. And I think that you have to take inspiration from bad things and good things, and that's really hard. Show more Jewish pride, not less, when the Jewish community needs help.